Hi, and welcome to another Average Joe Hockey Report. In this video, we're going to go over my 5 teams that have the biggest mess to clean up, and it doesn't look pretty. At number 5, Columbus Blue Jackets. Now look, I think the Columbus Blue Jackets have done well in the off season in regards to rebuilding. They traded away Seth Jones. They got a first round. They had 3 first round picks, and they got prospects like Jake Bean and Adam Boqvist, 2 defensemen that I'm a big fan of. However, ever since the year where they went all in, when they acquired, ever since the year when they went all in, and it didn't go so well, and ever since they lost Sergei Bobrovsky and Artemi Panarin, things have gone downhill. While the season after it didn't necessarily go downhill, last season especially did. Especially. And now if you look at the Columbus Blue Jackets now, it's basically Patrick Laine lost on an island, and the forward and just the current roster just does not look like it can compete. It can compete at all. And they did the right thing to axe John Tortorella, but it's just going to take a while for that team to rebuild. At number 4, Philadelphia Flyers. Unfortunately for Philadelphia, they needed to do 2 things in my opinion. 1, bolster the defense. Yeah, sort of did that. Problem is, I don't trust the guys handling the defense. The coaching, because they needed to overhaul the coaching staff, and they did not do that at all. Rasmus Ristolainen already was trending downwards as it is, and now for those who think that he'll get a new chance in Philadelphia, I don't necessarily like Ristolainen being handled by Alain Vigneault. Alain Vigneault is not a modern day coach and doesn't handle offensive defensemen very well. The same can be said about Keith Yandle, who people say is not quite the defenseman he once was, and now him being teamed up with being coached by Alain Vigneault is another. I don't know. I think that's another disaster in the making. I do like the Ryan Ellis signing. The Marty Jones pickup after he got bought out could be good, but I just don't like that coaching staff. I don't necessarily care for the Ristolainen signing and being coached by Vigneault, and yeah, just I don't know. To me, that's why it just doesn't necessarily look all that pretty. I do like the Cam Atkinson acquisition, but still, there's still a lot of work to do in the city of brotherly love. At number 3, and now I know what you're going to say. How is that not number 1? I'll explain. But number 3, Buffalo Sabres. If you look at the Buffalo Sabres, it just doesn't look pretty at all. Not one bit. I do like their off season. I think they've accomplished some parts of their rebuild. They did get rid of Rasmus Ristolainen. They got rid of Sam Reinhart. Got a pretty good goalie prospect in Devin Levi in that trade, for that matter. However, the team is still a very big mess. You wonder why the Pagulas, the owners, they don't hire someone to handle the hockey operations like consistently for one as well. And they still haven't traded Jack Eichel, which is still going to be a distraction as long as Eichel is a member of the Buffalo Sabres. Also, while minor, I didn't necessarily care for them parting ways with Linus Ullmark, but that doesn't necessarily matter because it doesn't necessarily matter who's in net for the Sabres. It's going to be a long season for the Sabres regardless. At number 2, San Jose Sharks. Let's face it, San Jose Sharks, it's just been too many years of hanging on to too many years of, you know, bad contracts. They did get rid of one in Marty Jones, but you still have the Mark Edward Vlasic contract, the Eric Carlson contract. Yeah, there's the Brent Burns contract, which he's 36. It seems like he's been trending downwards a bit, and now they don't really have that great of goaltending, and the prospect pool is not necessarily all that deep. It just doesn't look good in San Jose, just not one bit. And my number one team that who is the biggest mess in the NHL, Arizona Coyotes. Now, don't get me wrong, they did a pretty good job in their rebuild, or they did a pretty good job with the haul that they got um, uh, when they traded away Oliver Ekman Larson. They had quite a few bad contracts, but they're only in their last years of those contracts. And getting Dylan Guenther will be good. However, this team just like the team's just been mediocre or just bad for years. And now, with all the stuff that happens off the ice too, like with the illegal combine, and they had to lose picks, and now the city of Glendale has cut ties with them. This is their last season at the Gila River Arena, and it just doesn't look pretty in Arizona. Every time they get a player that looks promising, it just doesn't end up panning out, and he ends up out the door. So, yep, that's why I have Arizona as my number one. This video is mostly based on opinion, and may not have any implications on how these teams go about in their rebuilds and how they do as of next season. So remember, if I'm wrong, don't belittle me, educate me. Take care, everyone, and follow my Instagram account, Average Joe Hockey Report, and my YouTube channel, Marty Tommy, in parentheses, Average Joe Hockey Report.